Welcome back, folks and friends. Connecting Dots 2 here. We are Saturday, October the 8th, 2016, making this quick little video in response to Dana Durnford's latest bullshit rant. Just trying to fill people right up with it. I'll share with you his own words so you know I'm not making this up. Now, as far as this arrest stuff, I don't know too much about that. I was going by his own videos, his own statements that apparently he came home from going through the first, I say first because I'm going to charge him also, but the first court case against Professor Jay Cullen and Ken Buesler. He lost his court case. He's now on probation for 3 years. He can't mention their names or talk about them. And other than that, he's arrested again. From what I heard, what he said was he apparently broke his probation orders from when he into charge it was originally set up. I don't know much more than that. I think it has something to do with the fact that he was on another talk show in the USA, and they were speaking about these two professors, Ken Buesler and Jay Cullen from University of Victoria. Other than that, I don't know too much, and that video is not. This video is not about that. What I want to jump in his latest BS here, folks. How he's pulling out these old maps, and by the way, no, this map is not accurate. This is not the way the currents function in the ocean. But I just want to share with you, I can't play the whole thing, of course, because I'm going to get hit with a copyright strike. There's no doubt about that. These people will do anything they can to shut me up, okay? So, in fact, I can't even have this live stream at Connecting Dots 2. That's why I have to pre-record these videos now, folks, because I was showing how Kevin Blanche, using his own material, his own videos, proving my point that he's never had cancer, and he sure as hell, according to his video that day, he had fallen sick, almost died in the hospital. And now, I don't know if you heard of it, but Kevin Blanche has made videos saying he's now cured of AML. Oh boy. Yeah, he had to drop that line because too many people caught on. And when I made the videos, 3 of them in a row, spaced in the course of a month, they end up taking my live stream features away here on Connecting Dots 2. So soon I'll be back. October 17th, I get my features back. In the meantime, I have to make these type of videos, so hang on. I'll run through this information, and in case you've fallen into the load of bullshit, at least you'll be better informed after watching my video. So let's go on. Let's start off where he starts to claim that the Pacific Ocean, the temperature has changed. Yeah, because the hot radioactive. Listen to this.
These were studies. This was a study. And this is NOAA. This is a link is up. You see the link up there for the actual. And so NOAA shows the same thing, but they're not using all the isotopes from the radiation. Now, but what you're looking at is radiation all the way to the ocean floor, to the surface, and it's like a snowstorm in the ocean. Now it's pulsing all the time, and what that's done over the last couple of years is heat the ocean up dramatically. Now, it also falls.
See, I wasn't making that up. So, it's heating it up dramatically. It's funny. They just have to put a little bit of cold water when the particles are all together in fuel rods, all tightly close together, which is the purpose why they put them close together, is so they can harness that heat, the interaction. But now they're all broken up on their own in the ocean, and apparently it's heating up the Pacific Ocean dramatically. Can you believe it? And like I said, I had to make this stuff because this video because we need some common sense. He's jumped in it now. It's creating storms around the world. Now you heard about this Hurricane Matthew. Yeah. So he's not. He says I don't want to say if it's been directed or not because apparently they have weapons, laser weapons that they can control the hurricanes. And this time here apparently they may have used the weapons to push the hurricane off the coast. I'm like, oh boy. Again, it's all hearsay, no proof or nothing. At least with this video, you'll get some information here that's kind of accurate. So then he goes on with this next thing here on the Fukushima radioactive water. Folks, I want to tell you right now, if I have to make the video because we need some truth out here, and I understand I get a lot of heat, a lot of flack here because the people that I expose. Long story short, I've been doing the Fukushima videos since day one. I happen to live right here, or coincidentally, right up on that little island here, Vancouver Island, City of Victoria. I've been doing Fukushima videos since day one. And I'll tell you with certainty that when they've done tests on the fish, they have found more radiation from past nuclear testing in the salmon than they did in present day Fukushima fallout. Did you get that? More fish, I should say, during a test, tested positive for past nuclear fallout in the Pacific Ocean when they did testing than they did for Fukushima fallout. The fish have been infected for decades, contaminated. So don't listen to people telling you that the nuclear plants, the big plume, the massive dose of radiation got dumped in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, and yes, it is still leaking again. There's still some leaks. It doesn't change the fact that the fish are more contaminated with old past nuclear testing than they are with present day Fukushima radioactive particles. The only group of fish that we found that was, and every single fish in that test, that was in the July 2012 or August 2012. I think it was 5 months or 9 months after the meltdown. These fish were tuna, and I made that story how the fish, the tuna, that specific tuna, would be off Japan's coast during those winter months and then comes back over to the west coast of California during the summer months. All 15 fish in that test came back positive for Fukushima radiation, and that made total sense to those that were doing the test. In fact, I even shared their own comments, how the people that were doing the test, they said, we look forward to next year's test because we know it's going to be a year after the incident. Are all the fish going to come back testing positive? Since then, I've been following the test stories as they come out. And I will tell you, the last one we had was in January of 2014. It was a fish warehouse off the coast of Seattle here in Seattle, where the owner had gone up to Alaska, had picked out 7 different species of salmon. Only 7 fish, but all 7 fish were 7 different species. And the reason why is that you want different species as they happen to they have different migration routes, so it's safe to test them all. He tested all 7 different species. Out of the 7 fish tested, 5 of them came back positive for radiation. Only 2 of those fish out of the 5 that tested positive, it was Fukushima. The other 3, it was past nuclear testing. So again, I'm all about the testing. This is why you can notice here I have this gamma spectrometer funding. That's my long-term goal. I want to do independent testing because every time we had independent tests that was done on Fukushima, on the West Coast fish and marine life, we had different numbers that came back than it was when it was the government. Every time I showed that video, Fukushima Day 1295, you can do that research, or you can go down to my Fukushima Day playlist and find the video. Okay, Fukushima Day playlist. It's called Fukushima Day 1295. You can do that search if you want. And that showed in that video how the Food and Drug Administration, again, couldn't find any Fukushima radiation when they did their test up in Alaska. Isn't that weird? And we just had, what? A guy from an independent lab who only picked out 7 fish, an independent fish warehouse in Seattle, and all of them, 5 out of the 7 tested positive for radiation. And 2 of them was Fukushima, but the government couldn't find anything. Same thing here with Health Canada. We need independent. Okay, let's jump into his story. So the water apparently is warming up because of the Fukushima meltdown. The big plume that hit the ocean the one time has warmed up the ocean. I guess he hasn't been paying attention to the Pacific blob or none of that. No, that's totally out of his league. Anyways, please, folks, use your common sense. The rods are all together. The particles are all together in one rod. They use these rods to heat up the water. Now the rods are all broken down into thousands of little pieces. And the other story that he was telling you, that the whole depth of the ocean from top to bottom is saturated? Absolute lie. Impossible. Totally impossible. That's when he was showing us that map, telling you all that it was from top to bottom. Impossible. The leak came out just like it hit up in the atmosphere, went up in the atmosphere, and it was in certain layers of the atmosphere. It's not all over the place. Long story short, Dana's a guy with no date and data, and his latest stories trying to tell you that it's now creating these, heating up the ocean and causing, you know, possibly causing typhoons, because this is not the first time he said this. He's said this before, that the Fukushima radiation was causing typhoons. I'm sorry, folks. You've been misled, okay? And I can't go over all the typhoon history. I'm going to deal with the American one, because that's where the story comes out of here. Matthew, Hurricane Matthew. This is 2010 to 2014, a 4-year span of the NOAA's historical data that shows the U.S. storms and hurricane tracks. Can you see how many are there? Oh, you can't even count them. That's right. There's so many of them. Unbelievable, right? So Dane is not going to share the information I'm going to share with you. You can all find this online, by the way, all this stuff, okay? He's not going to share this information. It's about misleading people. And by the way, I got a quick one for you. I'll be looking in the comments for the answer. Why is it that these hurricanes and storms all happen to start at exactly that same spot? A nice line in the sand. I'll give you a hint. Well, I mean, I won't give you a hint, but I'll show you this picture so you can see how out in the southern hemisphere how we have a similar scenario. So why is it right there? I'll leave it there. I'll look at the comments. I'm sure there's somebody that already knows the answer. So as far as the paths, I think I made my point, right? Did you want to see more of these? I'm not going to waste your time on this. It's all over the USA. This has been happening for a long time. The historical data is there. I've done videos in the past on this stuff, and it's just sad that I have to come back to something that's so easily, debunked or explained in this case. So the paths are there. They've often curved out. It's historical data. One of the big things, though, is the amount of people that have been affected and the damage. So in the past, we were like a smaller population. I'll show you some articles from, if you're thinking those hurricanes were bad, well, that's only like property damage. That's not lives killed. This is replaceable. These are people's homes, unfortunately, and their memories are washed or whatever, blown away. So that's very sad, that part. But I mean, as long as they're still alive, that's the main ingredient. So this is just to give you an idea here of the intent, or I should say the costliest hurricanes. But I'll show you an article here. The Galveston hurricane of the 1900s was the deadliest hurricane in the history of the USA, killing at least 8,000. The 1928 Okeechobee hurricane caused at least 2,500 casualties in 2005. Hurricane Katrina killed about 1,500 people. In 1893, 2 hurricanes each caused over 1,000 deaths. 1893. So don't listen to Dana, because that was the other thing he was saying. Oh, the hurricanes are getting worse than ever before. Well, that's weird, because in 1893 and whatnot, we were a lot less people grouped up together in these big cities and whatnot. We're a lot less people all around the map, and yet look at the number of casualties and deaths. So don't get misled. And as far as the data here, according to NOAA here, it's telling you on average overall the storm season, the 2016 Atlantic hurricane season, it's they're thinking it's going to be normal. So Matthew wasn't as dangerous as they thought. Now I'm going on to this next comment, traveling with style. I appreciate when you folks take the time to leave these type of comments. Thank you very much. And Creepy Loser, Atlantis returning. You've gotten quite hurt. She's, you're not the only one who's disgusted with his mouth, okay? Yeah, and many people have said that. The same thing about Kevin Blanche, how he's nothing but a cursing, swearing. Why are these people promoted on YouTube? Why is it that it turns off so many of you to listen to them curse and swear? And this rant, I mean, it's just disgusting what comes out of his mouth. There's no wonder the guy was charged, okay? And like I said, I'm building my own case. I already got my case built. I just got to get all the data together and go see Stephen Kruk, the investigator that busted Dana. Anyways, Travel with Style says, hey, SGM, around 17 minutes, 10 seconds of this video, you get into spent pool number 4. Laughing out loud, you'll love this. Dana is back at claiming that several journalists are claiming that the addition, which built alongside and over the existing structure, was said by said journalist to be inside the existing structure. About 1 minute into his scaremongering bullshit, there he leaves you the link. Geez, I can't believe anyone falls for his pathological lies. He's really grasping at straws. The last of the assemblies were removed back in 2014, which isn't good for his ongoing money scam. Anyways, thanks for the efforts. I thought you might get a good laugh out of his latest bullshit. Well, you know what? They have to. This is part of the truth movement. I made a video today over at the Silver Gold Man. If you want to watch that one, it's about 1 hour and 14. Again, I'm talking about guillotines and how this we've been infected. The New World Order has controlled the YouTube truth movement, and we have nothing but disarray when the information is quickly accessible and anyone can quickly come to the truth. So reactor number 4, we have Dana as well as the ex Hattrick Penry Hattrick. He's no longer on YouTube. Apparently he stops in once in a while. These two bozos are the two that were behind saying that fuel pool number 4 is totally burnt away and there's nothing left. Dana comes up with a story that the entire building blew up. So what I've done here, and folks, I want to tell you something. If you're new to my YouTube channel and you're wondering, well, because I get this over at Silver Gold Man, you're a nobody, you never done nothing, blah, 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 blah. I just want to share with you, just very quickly here, just like my bookmarks. You can see this is imported from Firefox because my computers have been taken down here over the years, so I keep hopping around, and lucky for me, I keep, what do you call that? I back up all my information as far as my bookmarks. Look at reactor Fukushima number 4. In fact, if you want to look up close, you can probably see, here's Fukushima breaking news, like TEPCO live stream, my day counter. One of my subscribers sent me that, the black cat. There's my jet stream map. Here's Fukushima. Take a look at all the different folders in this folder just named Fukushima. I like I said, I've been following these stories since day one. I don't want to, I'm not saying this to brag, but, I even said how I traveled back and forth across Canada in early 2011, in spring 2011, after the meltdown, as I was chasing the storms. I knew that this would be coming down in the rain. It blew up. It went up into the atmosphere, It came out in either a liquid, a gas, or a solid particle, and I was after the gases that had been released up into the air, and I knew that this would be coming down in the rain. My point is just to let you know that I've been doing the Fukushima thing for a long time. And people are saying, well, you used Energy News. Yeah, in the beginning, Energy News, they were helping spread good information, and then it was clear that it turned into a fear-mongering factory with nothing but disinformation. I cannot participate in that. And it became most clear when they were promoting Arnie Gunnarsson, who had said he had pulled out over, 2,000 or 3,000 radioactive samples out of the Cascade Mountain chain, which is coincidentally right where I happen to live here. That's why you can see Cascade Mountain chain, BC, British Columbia. That's where I live. It's right near my backyard. For him to come out and say that he had all these nuclear samples, highly radioactive samples, yet he couldn't give us the locations where? When confronted, couldn't even tell us where. I'm sorry, folks. It became clear after even numerous of my subscribers would even complain about it, tell me, you need to get rid of this guy. Energy News is part of the problem. They were absolutely correct. Anyways, I just want to share with you that I'm not new to this. Okay, so let's just jump right into unit number 4. So this is one of his big claims. You can see the units here. Number 4, 3, 2, and 1 in the far background. So they've all been saying, and Patrick Henry used the fact that the NRC files show that the email sent from Japan over to them was telling them that the number 4 was on fire, and it run dry and there's nothing left apparently. Well, nobody was on top there on site in the early days. We had drone pictures, but this was a little later on. These NRC letters were all in the very near, we're talking like a day, two after the meltdown had begun. I'm sorry, these guys were too far away. The Fukushima 50 were far away. These NRC letters are only letters, and the pictures speak words. We clearly saw which reactor was burnt and which one was not. So I'm going to share with you some images here so you can have this figured out for yourself. So one of the big things here in construction, the metal, geez, I always forget how to say that, metal, hold on a second, griddlers, okay, I was close, they're girders, okay, the metal building girders. When they catch fire, obviously, if it's a really high heat, they'll melt, maybe even if they have a load on them, they'll twist and whatnot, but they change colors, right? Because the metal has been cooked by the fire. So that was one of our biggest things we knew from reactor 3. You could see there was fire there, okay? As you can see, the pool's still there. There's still steam coming on, but there was a fire in the reactor itself here. Not good, not very good at all. So same with the outside of the building, and let's go in a little closer on some of these other pictures here I have lined up. Here's number 3 again. If you look on the back wall, you can see how it's all dark. The metal girders, how they are also discolored, and I can say that you can see it clearly, I should say, when you compare it to unit number 4. Let's zoom in here a little closer. All right, here we go. So now you can see very clearly that this building was on fire. Absolutely. Still steam coming out. Not smoke, that's steam. But there was clearly a fire at some point. Or extremely high heat, because you can see the girders have melted and they're all twisted, deformed. They're discolored. That's the biggest proof. Whereas building number 4, all we have is a little bit of smoke coming out of it, steam coming out of the side of the building here. No discoloration, and we have several images. Just give me a second here, I'll show you some more. And we also have this other image. You can see here how the outside of unit 3, the cement is all burnt, whereas unit 4, no discoloration there at all. Okay, more images. Again, this is on top. Girders, all right. Number 3, all melted, twisted, and discolored. So, I don't know what to say. Again, a last parting shot here of unit number 4. At this point, they had brought in the pumper, and they were shooting a little bit of water there into that pool. Long story short, there was no fire. There was no fire, folks. So I don't want to hurt those of you that have fallen into this stuff and, make you upset at me, but, we need some truth here. It's the same thing with the hurricane season. This has been going on for forever and ever and ever. Just, you can do a search yourself and go look at those historical charts. There's lots of information out there, and you're not going to be lost in the dark to how to figure this one out. It's been going on forever. Okay, we have it on our coastline. They have it over in Asia and Japan. It's the same thing. Anyway, so again, I'll be looking for the comments. Anyone, can you please tell me why they happen to start right here? I'm sure some of you know. So that's my Hurricane Fukushima debunking video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I appreciate again your comments. Thank you very much for leaving these comments. Let me know what's up, and yes, I plan on keeping up the work, and I thank you very much for appreciating the videos. Hopefully you'll subscribe.